They say money can't buy happiness, but it can surely buy disaster. And when that disaster is caught on camera, it becomes a reminder that even the richest or most powerful are not immune to mistakes that cost millions, sometimes billions. The world has witnessed jaw-dropping moments where a single decision, a tiny error, or just pure bad luck turned into one of the most expensive fails ever recorded. Picture this: a brand new $300 million luxury yacht, gleaming white and the pride of its billionaire owner, being slowly lowered into the sea during its grand unveiling. Cameras flash, the crowd cheers, and suddenly a loud metallic crack shatters the air. The massive yacht tilts, the crane snaps, and in seconds, the pride of its owner sinks into the harbor. Workers dive into chaos, alarms blare, and the billionaire stands frozen, watching his floating dream descend to the bottom. The video went viral in hours, symbolizing that even perfection can drown with one miscalculated lift. Then there's the story of a satellite launch that went terribly wrong. Years of research, $200 million in development, and thousands of working hours all vanished in under 30 seconds. The rocket took off beautifully into the night sky, its engines roaring like thunder, and just as mission control began to celebrate, the unthinkable happened. A small glitch in the guidance system made the rocket veer off course. Within moments, it disintegrated mid-air, painting a tragic firework across the darkness. The engineers, scientists, and even the spectators were stunned into silence. The clip still circulates online as one of the most heartbreaking and expensive technological failures ever caught on camera. Sometimes the fail doesn't happen in the sky. It happens right on Earth, where pride meets concrete. Take, for instance, the skyscraper in Shanghai that cost over $100 million to build. Everything seemed flawless until one morning, after heavy rain. One of the nearly completed towers suddenly leaned and toppled like a domino. The CCTV footage showed construction workers running as the massive structure slowly fell, crushing cars and shaking the ground. Later investigations revealed that the foundation wasn't reinforced properly. One mistake beneath tons of steel turned into a viral video that cost a fortune and a reputation. And who can forget the oil spill that started with a single valve error? Cameras on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico recorded a small spark, followed by a rumble that escalated into one of the most catastrophic explosions in history. Flames devoured the platform, smoke filled the horizon, and the world watched as billions of dollars burned along with lives and ecosystems. It wasn't just expensive, it was tragic, and it showed how human negligence, even in high-tech environments, can lead to unimaginable loss. But it's not just industrial disasters or rockets. Sometimes the fail is more human, more ironic, and almost cinematic. Like when a car collector accidentally crashed his $2 million Bugatti Veyron into a lake while trying to answer his phone. Someone nearby captured the entire scene, the supercar slowly rolling off the road, gliding down into the water like a sinking jewel. The man stepped out unharmed, but the internet never let him forget it. Or the insurance company that refused to cover the loss because the driver admitted he was distracted. Millions of dollars gone, all because of a phone call. Then there was the time during a military demonstration when an advanced tank prototype, worth tens of millions, malfunctioned in front of a live audience. As the cameras rolled, the tank was supposed to show off its agility and firepower. Instead, its cannon misfired, the turret jammed, and the vehicle rolled backward into a ditch, smoke pouring from its engine. The embarrassed officials could only watch as the crowd laughed, their national pride dented, and their budget obliterated. The footage spread worldwide, turning what was meant to be a show of power into a global meme. One of the most famous fails, though, came not from machines or construction, but from art itself. During a live exhibition, a man accidentally tripped over and tore through a rare $1 million painting with his elbow. The gallery's security footage caught the exact moment, the gasp from the audience, the frozen expression on his face, and the priceless artwork collapsing to the floor. The moment became internet history, reminding everyone that sometimes even beauty is fragile enough to fall to clumsiness. And let's not forget the cargo ship stuck in the Suez Canal, a fail so monumental that it halted global trade. The footage of that massive vessel, turned sideways and wedged in the narrow canal, made headlines across the world. Billions of dollars were lost as ships lined up, waiting helplessly. All it took was one strong gust of wind and a steering misjudgment to block one of the world's busiest routes. The cameras that caught it turned it into both a global crisis and a running joke online, showing once again how modern technology can turn a logistical nightmare into a viral moment. These expensive fails share a strange mix of tragedy and irony. Some made people laugh, others made nations cry, but all of them carried a message that no matter how much money, intelligence, or power we possess, perfection is never guaranteed. Technology can break, humans can err, and luck can turn at any moment. Cameras today capture everything, the glory and the downfall, the triumphs and the catastrophes, and they remind us that history often remembers the mistakes more vividly than the successes. So the next time you see a viral clip of something going horribly wrong, remember, behind that footage is a lesson bought with millions. Whether it's a rocket lost in flames, a supercar sinking underwater, or a ship blocking the world's trade, every fail caught on camera tells the same truth. Sometimes the costliest moments are the ones that teach us the most. It started like any other day of progress and pride, with engineers, workers, and creators all watching their dreams unfold before the camera lens, unaware that in a few seconds, those same cameras would capture some of the most expensive and unforgettable disasters ever seen. Imagine a $1 billion oil rig standing tall over the endless ocean, gleaming under the morning sun, a symbol of human achievement. The crew was confident, the company was proud, and the investors were smiling. But then came a tiny spark, just a flicker, followed by a rumble that echoed like thunder. Within seconds, flames erupted, metal screamed, and the ocean turned into a sea of fire. Cameras from rescue helicopters caught the horrifying scene, the platform collapsing, black smoke curling into the sky, and the crew jumping into the water for their lives. Billions of dollars in equipment and years of hard work were gone, swallowed by flames. The footage went viral across the world, reminding everyone how fragile even the most advanced human creations can be. Then there was the luxury yacht launch that was supposed to be a celebration of engineering, perfection, and wealth. The billionaire owner stood proudly, his smile wide as the cameras clicked. The yacht, worth over $300 million, was being lowered into the water for the first time. Everything looked smooth until a metallic groan cut through the cheers. The crane holding the yacht buckled, snapping in half like a twig, and in an instant, the massive vessel tilted sideways and plunged into the harbor. Gasps filled the air, workers screamed, and the cameras caught it all in crystal clarity. The moment a masterpiece turned into a nightmare. The billionaire's face went pale as his dream sank beneath the waves, proving that even money can't buy back a moment of miscalculation. High above the earth, in the cold silence of space, another disaster unfolded years later. A rocket worth $200 million, carrying a communication satellite that would have connected millions across continents, lifted off beautifully. The engines roared, the crowd cheered, and the world watched live. But a minute later, a small glitch in the navigation system sent the rocket veering off its path. The flame that once symbolized progress turned into a fireball, exploding midair in a shower of burning debris. The video showed the heartbreak of the mission control team, frozen in disbelief, some burying their faces in their hands. That footage became a reminder of how unforgiving technology can be, how one wrong signal can turn dreams into dust. Not all fails happen in space, some happen in cities, among the towers we build to touch the sky. In Shanghai, a half-built skyscraper worth $100 million stood proudly until a heavy rainstorm softened the ground beneath it. In the early hours of dawn, CCTV footage captured the impossible, the entire building slowly leaning to one side and collapsing like a toy. The ground shook, cars were crushed, and workers ran for their lives. It turned out that poor foundation design caused it all, a small flaw buried under tons of steel. The video spread around the world, an eerie sight of a skyscraper falling in silence, showing how even mighty structures can fail if built on weak ground. Then there are fails so ironic that they feel unreal, like the one involving a $2 million Bugatti Veyron. A man, proud of his rare supercar, was driving along a peaceful lakeside road when he reached for his phone. The camera of a bystander caught the unbelievable moment as the car drifted off the road, slid down a slope and splashed into the lake. The driver climbed out unharmed, but the sight of that shining machine sinking underwater became one of the most replayed clips online. The world laughed, insurance companies refused to pay, and the video became a symbol of how carelessness can sink luxury faster than any wave. Military pride also had its share of embarrassment. During a live demonstration of a new tank prototype, officials, soldiers, and journalists gathered to witness a show of national power. The cameras were rolling as the tank started its maneuver, ready to show off its new weapon system. But instead of firing its cannon, it misfired, jammed, and rolled backward into a ditch, smoke rising from the engine. The crowd went silent, then erupted into laughter. Millions were spent developing the tank, and yet in that moment, all people could remember was the fail. The footage became global comedy, a painful example of how even defense technology isn't safe from human error. Art, too, hasn't escaped expensive mistakes. In a gallery filled with priceless paintings, a man tripped over a rope barrier and crashed into a rare $1 million painting. Security footage caught the slow, horrifying moment, his elbow tearing straight through the artwork as the crowd gasped. The man froze, his face pale, realizing he had just destroyed something irreplaceable. The painting was later restored, but the damage was permanent. That clip still circles online, a reminder that beauty and fragility often share the same frame. And who can forget the cargo ship that brought global trade to a standstill, the Ever Given, stuck sideways in the Suez Canal? The video of that massive vessel, wedged between the canal walls, became one of the most watched fails in history. Billions of dollars in goods were delayed, countries suffered shortages, and the world could only watch and laugh as tiny bulldozers tried to free the colossal ship. It was absurd yet powerful, showing how one simple misjudgment could freeze an entire planet's economy. All these moments, though very different, carry the same truth. They remind us that perfection doesn't exist, that no matter how much money or technology we possess, a single mistake can undo everything. Cameras have become witnesses to humanity's greatest triumphs and its greatest errors. They don't lie, they record reality as it unfolds, sometimes beautiful, sometimes brutal. The internet immortalizes these failures, turning billion-dollar losses into lessons for millions. Every explosion, every collapse, every sinking moment teaches something that no textbook can. The thin line between success and disaster is often invisible until it breaks. So when we look back at these most expensive fails ever caught on camera, we aren't just watching destruction, we're watching humanity in its truest form, brilliant, ambitious, flawed, and endlessly learning from the ashes of its own creation.